let's take a look at the bands, see where we're actually going to play. That is, of course, the next question.
Well, what do we have off the board automatically? It's going to be Coastline, as you mentioned earlier, but Clubhouse is going to be the other one. So we still have a chance to see Border or Villa again. Oregon going to be taken out first. Consul probably next. Yep, that's been kind of getting banned early, I've noticed, for most of the teams today.
Yeah. Villa also going to be gone, so no repeat. It's either Border, which we've seen twice already today, or Bank, something new. The question is which one? So, Bank, yay. All right, something new. Different. Something
that hasn't been played as much as it used to in Latin America. These teams have each played it once. Favors Immortals a little bit, though. They were in a 5-5 tie, whereas these are Pyjamas, if I recall correctly, Black Dragons won 6-1 against them. So.
All right. So it definitely seems like it's going to be an interesting one. It's nice to see something new played. No 3 borders today, which is nice. So I mean, I was a little worried we were going to actually have a real repeat of the first play day where we have all 4 border. That would be crazy.
That was interesting. I mean,
it was a long day because it felt like match after match, people were playing it the same way.
I mean, it felt like watching a 4-hour single match in a way.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what it felt like. And yeah, no, getting a little bit of variety is nice. I really was happy we got to see Villa in T1 versus Liquids because that's a little bit different. In this match, though, Bank, again, the results aren't going to change anything. So, yep. They're probably going to have a good time with it, I imagine.
It should be a good match. I mean, hopefully we don't get more Tachanka picks and things like that. But
I mean, maybe we will. I mean, what's wrong with it? I mean, ultimately, again, if the results don't matter,
to be fair,
and you're trying to have fun with your teammates against your opponent, then so be it. But
on a show.
Yeah, why not?
I mean, I got to imagine knowing you're going to lane, you're definitely not going to be using any of the strategies here that you would be using there.
That's the thing, isn't it? Yeah, you can run default takes and default holds, but there's no way you prep anything for this match. And if you had prepped anything for this match, expecting to need to fight for your position, then you're not going to use it now that you don't need to fight for your position.
Good on Nip, though. They earned that. You know, the possibility that they're in a position now where they don't have to fight for that. To be fair, though, I mean, it's a situation where had they not been able to kind of skate by in some of these more recent matches, maybe they, would be in a spot right now where they'd be fighting for their lives.
Yeah, maybe. And all said and done, though, I mean, it's pretty much already concluded what's going to happen out of the Latin American region. Now we just get to see this last flurry.
I'm just interested to see how it goes, though. As I said, we haven't seen Bake as much as we used to. I'm interested to see how it gets played between these guys. I mean, I think it should be interesting. As I said, they both played it once, and I think those were much earlier in the season for the most part. So there could be some new interesting things shown, even if it's not necessarily strats they're going to use professionally, in the LAN and things like that. There still might be some interesting ideas presented. They might be more akin to ranked level strats, but you never know. You never know.
All but certain that we're going to see heavy ranked strategy. Just like, yeah, let's push here. Let's go there.
But that being said,
let's not think too much about it.
A passionate region, as we like to say, which could go either way, and it could go the way of a team not wanting to lose face by losing either way.
I suppose. So, I mean, we'll find out once we actually get into the match, though. I don't see it as very likely that anything's going to be shown.
I like to be hopeful about it. I definitely don't want it to a foregone conclusion, meaning the match itself is a foregone conclusion.
Well, the results,
much as the results.
The results are done. Yeah, we know. I mean, the result of this match isn't. We don't know who's going to win it or if it's going to be a draw. But the ultimate outcome is done. So, yeah, as you can see here from the standings, Immortals are going to land. FaZe is going to land. NIP will not be relegated, no matter how poorly they do here. Pain and Black Dragons are gone. Pain gets to fight for it in the relegation match against the second best Challenger League team out of the Latin American region once we see that conclusion. But Black Dragons they're gone. This is their last season in Pro League with that team, or at least for now. They might be able to come back, though.
I hope some of those guys at the very least get picked up. Like I said, there's a lot of talent on the team. I'm not sure 100% on the standings in terms of like 3rd, 4th, and 5th place, but if Liquid got pumped all the way down to 5th just off of results and things like that, that is interesting to see them get all the way down to where just above NIP,
Yeah. I mean, it was a very close region apart from FaZe. Yeah. Across the board, as you can see, a very close one. FaZe very much standing away from the pack, though. I mean, not only in their points, but the round differential, literally everything. They just seem to be the team to beat in LATAM.
I mean, I think at this point, everyone would be excited to see a FaZe G2 matchup at lane just because of them being by far the more dominant teams in their region, as opposed to North America, which was much closer. than these other ones.
Yeah, North America's conclusion was pretty extreme. It was all down to how close the teams were. And, yeah, if you didn't watch those final matches for LATAM, there's only, or sorry, for North America, there's only 3 of them, as we had a forfeit in that play day. But you should definitely check them out. We still have Europe, which is undecided yet, so we have to go to the final play day for that.
That'll be interesting. I mean, it's a similar situation where, much like FaZe, G2 is locked into it, so it's the fight for second place. It's fighting over relegation spots and things like that. Unfortunately, Supremacy pretty much locked down that 8th place spot a while ago, and
they got their first win though. They did. So congratulations to them. Who was it that they beat? Vitality. They beat Vitality, the team just above them in the standings.
Unfortunately, I mean, I'm not sure the exact math on it, but it's definitely a possibility that Vitality gets to stay there as well.
Oh, it's probable.
Yeah,
in fact.
They've been really struggling this season, and I hate to see them go. Not that I like to see Supremacy go, but it's just Vitality who've been such a staple of going all the way back to Xbox. I mean, they did have the season in Challenger League where they had to work their way back after Xbox was gone and they had to transition to PC, but they'd made a good run of it, and it seems like one of the teams that had changed rosters probably the least in the longest period of time. They might even have one of the longest running rosters that's not changed at all in a certain period of time.
Vitality?
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, they did make a roster change recently. I believe Bibu is...
Oh, yeah. That's a good point. That was still part of the season because it happened before the end, unfortunately, yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunately, weird to see him go.
Yeah,
Bibu, such a staple for that team and a really good player. But, I mean, we're just waiting on everybody to get in here for Immortals versus NiP. So we can get the action started. It's unfortunately taking some time to get the final player loaded into the lobby.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's going to take him a minute here, but either way, once he gets in, of course, we'll get right to the match and get cracking. But either way, yeah, it's been an interesting season for Latin America overall. I mean, it's
been a weird one.
It's been a long 6 months, and it's been a weird one in terms of how close the region's been, how inconsistent the region's been, how dominant FaZe has been overall. You know, despite some setbacks sometimes, they seem to have figured out their stride, and despite a roster change, they only seem to get a little bit stronger from that. So
yeah, I mean, FaZe going into this season, being as dominant as they are right now, I don't think anyone was really anticipating it. They're a really good team with some of the best players in Latin America, possibly the best players in Latin America, given the results of this season. But you know, they were looking kind of like they were struggling at the beginning, especially. I mean, most of their draws and losses were at the beginning. After that, they started to pick it up, though. Again, an 8-win streak. They didn't get a 9-win streak. They lost, or well, they lost the streak. They drew to their opponents today. That was Black Dragons. But overall, they had a great season. They picked it up where at the beginning they were doubts. They really locked those doubts out. Even after making a roster change, they managed to have a really solid season. So
it seemed like a smart roster change, too. It wasn't a haphazard one made out of desperation, I don't think.
Maybe. I mean, you know, every roster change has potential to benefit your team or work against you. It really just depends on timing and how willing your players are to adapt to the new player.
Yeah. I mean, it was interesting to see the only team that has actually won one of these events, and especially against G2 of all teams, to be the ones to not go to LAN after this and instead give Immortals a chance.
Yeah. The only Latin American team to win an international event is Liquid.
Yeah.
And now they don't get to go.
I mean, I guess that's the price of being inconsistent.
They'll be there, though, probably.
Yeah.
I expect their players to actually show up, but they just won't be playing.
Yeah, I don't doubt that.
Let's bring up the community vote and see who you think is going to win. Let's see what I think it's going to be. Probably. Wow. Okay. No, NiP taking that.
I mean, that's been even when they've been losing in the beginning, they're still winning the community votes.
So just to be clear, Immortals is going to the LAN. Ninjas in Pyjamas is not.
And they're just barely avoiding relegation. So
yeah, they're in 6th place right now.
Not sure that's super clear to everyone who voted in that community vote.
Yeah, maybe just being fans of a particular team, I suppose. NiP has got a lot of big names on it. Really formidable roster. They have also been playing exceptionally well recently. Still though, Immortals should win this. Let's be absolutely clear on that point. They are the ones who are in a better position right now to take it. So, Ninjas and Pyjamas defending means they ban first, and the Lion's gone.
There goes Blitz to follow that up. So we've seen a Monty and a Blitz banned today. Interesting pick. That does mean, of course, a lot of other attackers available, including Glaz. Clash, and then Mira, again, potential here. This time, it's not the Lion team that's banning the Clash.
Just a reminder, last time these teams met, Immortals won it, and it was 6-3 in their favor on Oregon. So this looks like a good matchup for Immortals.
To be fair, this feels like a different NIP than we've seen.
That's true.
So
they have been winning most of their recent matches. To, you know, if we're gonna go there,
I'd love to know what really changed in them too. Like, I mean, it's just a situation where they just seem to struggle and struggle and struggle, and then
I think they realized, oh shoot, we could get relegated, and then they just were like, let's not do that.
Yeah, I mean, they stepped it into high gear. I mean, it's definitely that threat can really motivate you, especially after you just get picked up by a big organization. You've got your skin in the game now. It's just, I mean, literally your skin in the game.
I think there's a real thing with some teams in Siege Pro League where they aren't thinking about it until it's too darn late. I remember talking to some teams, I'm not going to name any names, but I had a conversation with a team once where, you know, they were thinking to themselves, yeah, we'll be fine. We're like top 4. We can manage this. And unfortunately, they didn't have a great season. And, you know, it's like the possibility of getting auto-relegated or relegated in general doesn't really hit you until you're in that slot. And not even in the beginning. Like in the first half of the season, it's not even something you're thinking about. In the second half, you're going towards the end, you're in 7th place, and you're thinking to yourself, wait a minute.
How did I get here?
What's going on? Yeah, wait, hang on. We're not supposed to be relegated.
This is not top 4.
Yeah, I'm very confused. So, and that's a real thing. Like, teams sometimes forget themselves in their ambitions to make it to LAN events. They forget, hey, if we don't do well enough, we're not gonna even play in Pro League next season.
And the funny part was how many Latin American teams were in that position at the same time.
Yeah.
So it was definitely an interesting place to be because, well, then all of them were suddenly motivated.
Yeah. All right, so top floor from NIP. Can't say I'm surprised.
I mean, the real surprise is that they banned Echo instead for the last ban, but
yeah, they did ban Echo, and I mean, I guess it makes sense if they're trying to hurt the basement defense, which also reinforces why they would go to the top floor instead of the basement first. Meister will still be useful downstairs, but Echo is ultimately the best operator to have when defending the bottom floor on defense. Especially if you're expecting... The thing is like, I want to say, especially if you're expecting a default plant, but nobody plants anywhere but default, it seems. I mean, if you're going to attack CCTV on the basement, you're going to plant in the corner, default spot, and if you're not going to plant there, then you're still going to plant in the same kind of general area. So it's... Yeah, Echo is really friggin' useful there.
Not enough vault drops.
No, not enough vault drops.
Interesting to see Cyber bringing the AUG, which at this point I feel like is... I mean, it's probably a comfort choice, but the Commando is definitely kind of edging it out at the moment, I think.
We'll get a first kill, though.
Works. Yeah, I mean, I guess there's that.
Kamikaze refrags onto Yuke very swiftly, so the Thermite gone means that the walls will not be opened. And that's going to put a lot of pressure on Immortals. Definitely an advantageous exchange for NIP, but they will lose another player to Cyber. Psycho with the run out, though, will take down 2, and he's the doc, so he can heal up, but Diogo's going to cut off his rotation and get that kill. Kamikaze onto PX, it's all Diogo, and his position is known to his opponents, so they will attempt to isolate him in that main lobby.
It's surprising to see a 1v2 at a minute 20 already, but Diffuser pretty far away. He's got a little bit of walk to go, and unfortunately a Black Mirror looking right at him. Means Wag's in a good position, and this is, I mean, unfortunately for Diogo, kind of a foregone conclusion. That's certainly going to soften him up. This is just torture at this point.
Oh, wow. Wag doing significant damage, but he will eventually lose the Evil Eye. Did about 50 points of damage, though. That's substantial. Ooh. Wag now going to be the one in the advantage moving forward in this engagement. Smoke used to cover the rotation onto Banana for Diogo. He's probably going to see the barrel of the LMG. He will, but didn't reload earlier, so is forced to do so in the middle of that fight. Jaeger playing the long angle from the windows. Sprays coming out from inside of B. You could see that NIP are just waiting for their right moment, but Diogo's not giving it away easily. The foot of Diogo, though, will die to Wag. So Ninjas in Pyjamas take the round finally.
Good start to the round. A little bit of a chaotic attempt there from Immortals, trying to push it maybe a bit aggressive and a bit early for a situation where the defenders have the advantage in, for example, having the black mirrors available. Made it, but still, nonetheless, Cyber, despite what I said about the AUG, which, I mean, I still stand by at the same time, though, that's why he's comfort picking. You see how good he is with it. You know, why change it just because of some slight advantages and the other weapon if you're good at it. Open being the second choice here, always a confusing one as the win rate for it. Probably fairly low. I don't have obviously stats in front of me, but my goodness, it is so rarely won.
Almost every time we see open area defended, it is unsuccessful. No matter what a team attempts to do here. I'm guessing the reason it gets played so frequently, though, is that it works in scrims. Then when you bring it to the actual main stage, it does not see very much success. Though, it doesn't get played a whole lot, so there's not a lot of sample size to work with.
That's a good point.
Cav can being 6-picked off of into a Cav, so yeah, we've seen Cav a lot, I guess, today. He's not a great operator, but
I mean,
teams don't seem to care right now.
This is probably the map where we've seen it played the most.
Yeah, this and Villa makes sense, I guess. You know, both of them very large maps. It takes a long time to weed out a Cav.
And when you can silent step and dodge, well, I don't know, the one thing that usually is a counter to that being Jackal, it makes some sense. I mean, obviously, after Eunice's play with it that we saw before with the interrogate and everything, I think everyone's hoping for a similar situation, but those are very rare to come by.
Yeah, don't let your memes be dreams, man. Go for the interrogation.
Well, he's looking for drones to try and make sure this is harder for them to get in, or make sure he has the opportunity to run out. There we go, catches one.
Drone economy is very important and is often ignored by many players. Not so in Pro League. If you can take out a drone, then take out a drone, man. Always hunt them down. You use the opportunity to get them. Treat them like kills, because they are very important.
And we see a lot of players that if they have nothing better to do, will look for opportunities to do that when they're done setting up and
like Psycho.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll see. They are going to be bringing the Dokebi as well for the phone calls to go with those footprint trackings, and that is something that Psycho does have to worry about. He's got to try and put his phone on silent anytime that call comes around, so there is something they could do about it that won't be silent, but...
Yeah, Immortals has the optimal roam hunting kit right now, which makes sense because they're attacking on Bank. Now, obviously, he's going to eat some damage, though, and I believe be downed, if I'm not mistaken.
Certainly looks like it.
Yeah, finished off by Psycho, and I think that's an interrogation, maybe? I can't tell. Yes, indeed, it is an interrogation. Wow. Okay, so the fact that that worked, absolutely hilarious. Unfortunate that it was poorly timed. I mean, there's nothing that Psycho can really do about the timing of his interrogation, per se, but all of the attackers were far away from the building, so no advantage to Nip other than a kill.
I tell you what, though, this is a psychological advantage. Nothing is more frustrating for a team than for a teammate to get interrogated, and there's nothing you can do about it.
I completely agree. Yeah, no, I'm on the same page with you there. When your teammate gets interrogated, it sets you back mentally as well as physically. Like, where you are far from your objective, you're also not thinking about anything other than, oh, my teammate got interrogated. Though, that said, Cyber able to refrag onto the Cav means that a lot of that pressure has been taken off the shoulders of the attack. Kamikaze in an odd angle and will die as he attempts to challenge Diogo. PX also eliminating Julio, and well, okay, the defense had the advantage in every possible way, and they have since lost it.
Yeah, how do you go from an interrogate to a 2v4?
Yeah, unfortunate, but Immortals will force Nip into that corner, and even further now, as WAG gets taken down, PZD is the last defender.
Well, he's got a lot to deal with here. This phone ringing, he knows there's someone in here. That's probably going to be, you know, the easiest pick he's going to get so far. Now they know where he's at. PX is a little bit low on health, but they are starting to approach and, of course, plant the bomb, which is, well, that is something PZD cannot stop at this point. Now that he's going to push, it's going to be fairly predictable as he runs through metal detector with his phone blaring.
Yeah, and he dies to a Claymore.
That'll do it, too.
Cool. So, Immortals take their first round on an open area attack. And it was a really weird one. Started off with an interrogation from Ninjas in Pyjamas, and then they all died.
I don't want to blame the bomb site because most everyone died off site.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. I think it was just maybe the Nip players getting a little too aggressive, trying to use that interrogation to get some more kills. There were no kills available because Immortals were all very far from the building. And then when Immortals started clearing back in, they absolutely shredded Nip, and that's all there is to say about it.
Well, they're going to try it again, so maybe we'll see something a little more interesting this time. Probably not an interrogate, but maybe a little bit more stable play in terms of not overly aggressing yourself into the enemy's bullets and peeking lobby constantly.
Also not going to be a Cav this time around.
Yeah.
Definitely on board with that.
He's still going to be a roam operator, though.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, fair, but not bringing the Cav, I think, is sensible.
To be fair, he succeeded at his role.
He did, but I mean, on Bank, it doesn't really matter. I mean, okay, here's the thing. It's a great map for Cav because there's a lot of open area, but the fact is that after he interrogated the Buck, it didn't help his team at all because there are so many ways for the attackers to get away from you.
And to be fair, Cav is most effective towards the end of the round when you come back for a potential retake and stop it with a flank.
Yeah, if the attackers are fully committed to being in the building, then interrogation ends the round.
Yeah.
But wasn't the case there. It was just too early.
Well, either way, we'll see how it goes down this round. Not going to be an interrogate, but still definitely some roam play going to be happening. Some cameras up, both from the Evil Eyes and the Black Eyes. So a lot of eyes to watch out for the Immortals players who are going to be bringing their phone calls and Jackal tracking it again. So there's a lot of intelligence and counterintelligence going on here, the kind of back and forth that comes out from that. On a very large map could mean a lot of individual kills, whether you isolated an attacker or isolated a defender.
Navi is once again coming up from the basement very quick into the building last time. This resulted in an interrogation. This time, though, no Cav in play, and he has been a little bit more thorough on his clear. Because of that, he is allowed the position top of server stairs. He can do a lot of work with this one. Psycho inside a red hall, though, could potentially flank if he's aware of his opponents pushing in through server. There are two people at the top now. I'll start droning out Kamikaze inside of Archives. It's good information to have. They know that they're going to enter into a crossfire as soon as they push out. But Navi's manages to narrowly avoid that crossfire and make his way into the corner by open area. That is curious that he was allowed to do that.
Yeah. I mean, maybe some of that's due to the fact that Psycho's low on health and was, I was going to say too low to really consider a reset, but they went with it anyways.
The push in from Navi's will be thwarted by Kamikaze. Excellent headshot there from the Valkyrie. Yuke pushing his way to the main lobby to help out Diogo, and Cyber will be also downed, but finish off eventually by Wog. Legion traps over by the Czech desk will be targeting Yuke, and after he pulls it out of his foot, he's going to start his push, but his position is now known, and he will eat some damage and finally be finished off by the Legion himself, PZD. Diogo and PX now the final two attackers, and they're coming from very different locations. Not even close to the bomb site right now. PX laying some flashbang in, but he will be flanked by Wog, and it's all up to Diogo. Cyber's Claymore, for the second round in a row, will get a kill, this time onto Psycho, though also this, it doesn't look like it's going to change the outcome of this round.
Yeah, this is a familiar situation here we're seeing for Diogo, and a familiar ending. So Wag gets yet another kill. Definitely a much better open area defense that time. I mean, both teams trying to play it more effectively, but just the roam hunting not really working out at all that time. Much better play by Nip in terms of better control of the areas they were playing in and not really overexposing themselves into, cheeky lobby peaks and things like that. So they can now go back to CEO, which they had also succeeded on. So that puts them in a good position. Interesting that they don't want to play lockers despite having Mira, but like you said, losing Echo. So
the Echo ban was a targeted ban, in my opinion, specifically for the basement.
Yeah.
For when they want to go onto attack of the basement. But it also means Nip doesn't want to defend the basement, which I think makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, it's always interesting the fact that, when you ban for everyone. And I think that makes it a bit more, I don't know, kind of back and forth in terms of how you make those decisions and why we see very common operators not banned because both teams still want to play them. And you don't want to give them up.
It's the same as, do we reinforce this wall or open it? You know, we talked about it earlier. LATAM opens more often than they reinforce. And that's in contrast to other regions like Europe and North America. But, it's reflected in the ban phase. It's the same thing, really. It's like, what do you not want to deal with? What do you want to deal with? What can you account for? What can you not account for? I mean, it's all up to you as a team to decide what you want to deal with. Yeah. It's really that simple.
Well, Glaz not being banned means they do have to deal with that coming out from Yuke, who 6 picked over to that. Which is, I'd say, a very good operator for a lot of places on this map, especially with the big wide open areas actually work to Glaz's advantage if he's playing the right angles on them. But of course it also means, well, those could in theory work for a lot of other operators. So it's not Glaz's, you know, special domain per se. But he is very effective on a basement push, which we will not see. So we may see him playing some other long angles, trying to keep people off rotations, for example, while other people pressure the site. We saw Cyber doing a lot of hanging out on the window and trying to pressure the site from there. In this case, though, he's playing a different operator, so we may see him doing it a little bit differently as he's now going to be on Twitch, which will be useful now that Julio is, you know, bringing a mirror. It's a situation where Twitch becomes a lot more useful outside of just the F2.
Yeah. So the setup here from the defense, solid so far. Immortals trying to probe from Square Skylight and from the north windows. Last time we saw this, Nip went for a run out and were able to eliminate the repelling attackers. This time you can see that Immortals is wary of this. They are waiting for the run out. They are predicting it and they are holding it. So not likely going to be an option for Nip this time around.
Yeah, definitely something. I mean, it's something you can pull off if you know where their setup is well. And I imagine there's a black eye outside. They can strategize around that, so it's still possible. But yeah, definitely both teams trying to make it more difficult. PZD, however, fortunately due to the angle, Navi's wins that, and he's going to go down. So that is going to start to soften this up. But Psycho kind of takes his place.
That's abysmal timing there for the castle to come off of the angle. Psycho going to get back on that very same angle. Potentially could work against him, depending on what the drones see. Navi is able to get his drone inside and will detect Psycho and call that out to his team. Slow going, though, so far for both teams. Wag, last time, in the previous round that is, he was able to do so much damage as the Maestro. He's looking to do the same here yet again, playing a lot of these angles.
Yeah, I mean, definitely been effective on it. Psycho playing a little bit different role than he had been before in terms of it being a little less roam intensive, but he's still playing off of his cameras to an extent. Again, trying to peek this lobby here could work against him, but Wag, to make sure it doesn't have to actually earn that. Diogo not going to have to try and clutch it out this time as he is down off the board. First attacker down, though. 51 seconds left, and the attacker's yet to really get in and do anything. It means they're going to be probably pressured to swing in through the windows at the last second.
Yeah, it doesn't really actually seem like, you're right, it doesn't seem like Immortals has actually done a thing. Wag will take out PX now, so continuing to play these long angles, looking for kills, and using that ACOG to great advantage. The attack is struggling quite substantially. They opened up the wall in from Square Skylight, but with 20 seconds, I don't think that's going to matter. 2 smokes still for the Glaz, but a C4 from Psycho is all that will be necessary to deny this push outright. Ooh, bad timing for Psycho, but he still wins the fight against Navi's. Impressive gunplay there as he pushes up the stairs. What? Oh no, so many missed shots from Yuke. Cyber will take out Wag as he pushes into the site, but he doesn't have time to kill 3 players, and the defense will win thanks to the clock.
That is unfortunate that just the roam plays by Nip, when they work, they certainly work, and Wag's been a big part of that. Cyber's been probably the only one on Immortals that is really seeming to show up heavily in this match. I mean, he did die fairly early, not that last round, but the round before it, and still managed to get a kill from his Claymore even. He's been the only force that seems to be putting a lot of pressure on Nip, and it seems like if he's not able to do that, not a lot happening. The final bomb site to defend, though, for Nip is going to be Teller's Archive, something they had not played earlier, as they have now won CEO twice, Open once, and, well, no reason to go back to Open, so they're going to go to their third one. I mean, no reason, but they can't, rather. So we'll see if Immortals can start to bring this back a little bit, but as we said earlier, they don't have to go to LAN, but it certainly doesn't hurt to end looking good.
Yeah, I mean, why not? Ninja Super Pyjamas. So, again, not going to the basement. Obviously, that makes sense. That they really dislike the basement for whatever reason, and they've decided that they're going to ban against it to make it worse for Immortals once the Immortals eventually goes there by getting rid of the Echo. Yeah, Cyber really showing up for his team right now. Look at that.
My goodness.
And that's the only reason that Immortals even has a round right now. I guess the community vote is so far right.
He's still got the least deaths as well.
Yeah, interesting that, huh? But, I mean, the match isn't over. This is Meg, typically defensive-sided, and I mean, it could swing back. Who knows? Once the halves change.
I mean, more often than not, maps that can be defensive-sided generally are if Mira is unbanned.
Yeah, and she is unbanned, so she's been a huge driving force for the defense so far. Ninjas and Pyjamas playing around them quite a lot, though. I think a big part of why they're seeing success is because they're just so aggressive.
Yeah, absolutely, and a lot of that's just down to Psycho and Wag.
Psycho's been having a really good match thus far. Navis will take down PZD and bye-bye the Legion. So that's a really good start for Immortals.
Yeah, that, ooh, nice camera there as well. Not going to be expecting that one normally. Right onto the umbrella.
Uh-oh, Kamikaze's going for the kill based on the information gathered by that camera. Might be too little too late. He really should be asking his teammates to call this for him, but he goes for it himself and loses the fight. Diogo from above will cover that rotation. That's unfortunate for Kamikaze. Really bad start for Nip. Excellent start for Immortals. 5 versus 3 now, and plenty of time for the attack.
Well, either way, if they come off this with a 3-2, it's still an advantage over to Nip, so they're not in a terrible spot to kind of play this their continued aggressive way. That lobby doorway seeming to be a death trap many times now for Immortals. Maybe not the best entry point anymore. I mean, they do have some man advantage, but Wag with the ACOG is able to play a lot of long angles, not to mention you've even seen Psycho and some of them pulling it off with just the MPX.
Wag has also just really been hitting his shots so far this match.
Certainly.
You put him in a position to get kills, and he will deliver.
I'm surprised he's not the roaming smoke somehow.
Well, he's the roaming maestro, which is a bit odd, but
seems to be working.
He has been working quite a lot. He's going to miss some shots, though, onto Navis, who's pushing in through that ATM's doorway.
I like the strategy of being ready to drop that when you can't necessarily see that because of the pillar. It actually worked out for him because I'm not sure if they were able to tell for sure or not whether he's still playing there. Oh, there goes Psycho, though. Now it's down to Wag and Julio. Looking very Immortals favorite here. Cyber is dead again, but who knows? Maybe we'll get another Claymore from the grave.
The C4 helping somewhat, but Navis is already into the A-bomb site, and he's going to take down Julio. It's all up to Wag, as he eliminates Nuke. PX with the diffuser in hand, pushing his way towards the site, going for that plant, and he is almost there. Navi sees the feet of his opponent, but chooses not to shoot them. The follow-up will be successful, though. Immortals take their second round, and in this half, still with the disadvantage, but a lot better than it could have been. 3-2, Nip's favor.
It'll be really interesting to contrast the defensive play coming out from Immortals after the way that Nip were playing it fairly consistently aggressive and spread out. I mean, I could imagine Immortals might not play the same way, especially seeing as they're going downstairs first.
So, not going to care about the Echo ban. Nip is going to just go down to the typical... Oh, no, okay, CEO, cool.
That's trickery. So, that makes a little more sense. Maybe they realized that last second. Maybe normally they were going to go down there and they realized, oh, you know what? Actually, no, never mind. It's better to go up. And so they were going to six-pick that castle, which makes sense. They were going to bring the Vigil for their own, but nope, we need the extra utility upstairs to help set up and close off some sight lines, especially now that there will not be a glass being played. That's even better to have those, because now you don't have any holes being shot through them. You just have to worry about pretty much the Zofia.
And Zofia, of course, powerful operator in any context, really. I mean, we've been seeing her played so much in every single region.
No, I said just Zofia, but I realize there's actually plenty of opportunities to use the Hibanas through a long angle through the window.
Yeah, technically you could do that.
I've seen some teams do that. It's just, it gives you the ability to have the extra utility if you don't need it for the walls because they've got a double hard breacher.
Sometimes the Zofia's utility is more useful than the Hibanas.
Yeah, I mean, it's a case where the only things you're going to open up make sense to do with Thermite because there's no hatches you need to open.
Yeah.
So
it really depends, though. It depends on the circumstance.
Yeah, it certainly does.
So, Ninjas and Pyjamas. First attack round onto the top floor, which is where they decided to defend first.
I love how the scores were again mirrored, except for one different at the bottom. They seem to be consistently holding that.
Yeah, throughout the day, it's been a pretty close one. The only match we saw that was one-sided was Pain versus BK.
Yeah, surprisingly. Well, we'll see if Diogo could pull a Kanto up here, although that's usually played with the deployable shield and a dock, but...
Still manageable, though.
Mm-hmm. I mean, according to the charts we saw from Diamond and Platinum ranked play, Rook is very, very strong, apparently.
I don't know, man.
We'll see, though. He's got the old Magnum to back him up.
Practical application does not necessarily is not necessarily reflected in your win rate.
He didn't drop his Rook armor.
Huh.
That's so selfish.
Just play a Doc, I guess.
He just,
Why are you not playing Doc?
I don't know.
I'm so confused.
Yeah, definitely, you know, maybe just not so much caring about that.
Today's an odd day for LATAM. Have you noticed?
It certainly is.
I mean, Liquid could have qualified for LAN. T1 couldn't because of the tiebreaker. Liquid didn't. They drew their match, which means Immortals is going. NiP's not getting relegated because neither Pain nor BD won their match, so that's not even something they have to think about. I mean, this has been an odd day. This match ultimately has no consequences for either team, win or lose. So, yeah, that's what we're looking at today.
Well, we'll see how the rest of it goes, though, as it's been somewhat back and forth. Not as back and forth as we expected, but windows starting to get opened. They definitely found a use for those X-Kairos besides opening castle barricades, but Kamikaze finding good use for his bullets right in Navi's face. Means the Maestro on this side is not going to be living nearly as long as WAG had been.
So, Rook armor in hand. Diogo start pushing his way up the main stairs, looking for some fights. He doesn't have the advantage of his armor for some reason. He's decided not to use it.
Yeah, I don't think holding onto the bag gives you 5 extra armor to wear.
Could you imagine? He's looking for a fight, though, and he's not going to get any. Nobody's challenging him in the main hallway, and the wall being opened up, the mirror windows being somewhat disabled, or at least halfway disabled. This is seemingly a good take so far for NiP. Cyber's going to eat some damage. He attempts to peek onto the open wall. He'll go. Smoked off in the main hall. He has a little line of sight, though. This could actually net him a pretty easy kill. But no, it doesn't look like anybody from the attack is going to cross that angle right this second. PZD takes down Yuke, Psycho, nade onto Cyber. Mirror window still intact, but not working much to the advantage of the defense in this moment. The C4 will miss. PZD finally finishes off. Wow, what a shot from PX, but it's not going to be enough. Psycho will finish him off, and Ninja Pyjamas take the round quite decisively.
Well, that puts them in a nice lead 4-2. Definitely a good series of plays from them. It definitely did not go very well from the attack. I'm sorry, from the defense of Immortals. Just seeming like NiP were able to catch a lot of the defenders at the right place at the right time, or the wrong place at the wrong time, in situations where, especially the smoke, was able to give them the opportunity to kind of cross in to that conference area, and it just seemed to work out in terms of nothing really coming back from Immortals, especially losing those Black Mirrors due to the X-Kairos. Left them to positions where they kind of had to fall off the angles and advantages that they had. So
okay, here we go. Ninjas in Pyjamas. Ooh, that's bad. I think they were expecting a rotation of bomb sites, but they will bring the Capital in lieu of the Montaigne. I guess both of them technically great operators for attacking the basement. All right, I spoke too soon. It's not a bad thing that they don't have a Montaigne, but the Montaigne would have aided them quite a lot here. Either way, Immortals, despite now Echo being in play, will go downstairs. It seems like it's their main bomb site. They were a little dissuaded earlier, but after that failure on the top floor, I'm sure that they know they need to either win the basement or lose the match.
Here's the funny part, though. They go down to the basement. They bring a pulse, but guess what? They don't bring smoke.
You're right.
So
why?
I mean, yeah, you got C4s.
You have an alibi.
Yeah.
What's the point? Why do you have an alibi and not a smoke?
It's a strange choice, but nonetheless, we'll see if they can pull it off. I mean, you have the three C4s, so I suppose that makes up for 3 smoke.
I get it. Yeah, no, C4s, you can stack them. Understood. But why, though?
I mean, this is the region that would go smokeless on Oregon.
Okay.
Just play C4s. I mean, that's going a ways back, but...
So they're doing the shotgun on the server stair thing. So that is a strategy we see a lot. I don't think I've ever seen it from an alibi before with the ACS-12, or the AA-12, as it's commonly known.
Yeah, I mean, maybe Slash, the one time he did something like this. I don't remember what gun he was using, but he had the alibi stacked up in a similar fashion, was trying to play it like this. I believe it was Slash Hug.
I don't know if it was this shotgun, though.
That's what I don't know, yeah.
This is one of the rarest guns in Pro League. You don't really see it very much. It's been seen, but not often. So it's a bit of a weird setup here from Immortals. I get it, you know, deny server. It's cool. This is also tying in to, you know, dealing with the lack of an Echo. If you can play further off-site, you don't necessarily need him as much. It's a mentality. It's hard to pull off, but you can. All that said, though, drop downs are going to get opened. The pressure will be applied elsewhere, and I feel like this position will be rendered null.
Yeah, I mean, with double hard breacher, assuming you don't get killed doing it, you should expect quite a few hatches open as well as walls, potentially. But the walls part definitely depends on...
Oh! What a shot from Navi's! The perfect time to switch his weapon. Whack goes down. Oh, that was absolutely nasty.
Well, right when I talk about the thermite, there he goes. So, good thing you brought 2 hard breachers. Hopefully you didn't use all of them that you might have needed for some walls. The nice shot coming out. A great... You're talking about bringing the shotgun, and then he goes and uses the pistol.
Yeah. And you talk about one of the hard breachers hopefully not dying, and oh, he's gone. Yep. Just like that.
That's right. That's Caster's Curses, they call it. I'm not sure if that drone saw him, but I'm pretty sure they know he's there at this point.
Yeah, it looks like the ADSs have been expended. Navi's going to be sitting on his position. Nade coming out, though, and he will be killed from that grenade. Probably the most efficient nade in recent history. Psycho eliminating quite a lot of utility with 1. And PX will refrag it, though, onto PZD. Kamikaze onto PX. Back and forth here. Advantage, though, uncertain, as the attack still has plenty of pressure from the drop downs. They have their push into server solidified, but there's so little time left. Still Nitro Cell in hand for the defense. Cyber on a very long angle trying to hold that doorway into server. 2 C4s still for Immortals.
Yeah, plenty to stop us here with 15 seconds left. The Captail's going to try and deny that.
Yeah, here come the fire bolts and the smoke bolts alike. It looks like they're poorly placed, though. The C4 is still going to be useful, and it will get 1 kill. The second also possibly going to land. Psycho takes out Cyber inside a red hallway, but it doesn't matter. Again, time is the one to determine the outcome of the round, though this time in Immortals' favor. So, we end it 3-4.
Thanks, Wag. I suppose that's for the nice shot.
Yeah, it was a nice shot.
Yeah. Well, so the 1 bomb site that was not wanting to be done by Ninjas Pyjamas does get won by Immortals.
Mm-hmm. Fancy that.
Fancy indeed. And that is the only one they've won so far, of course, as they lost CEO. So they're going to try Tellers rather than go back to CEO. See how that fares for them. They're not going to go as aggressively into open area as we saw from Nip. Julio going to sneak off the... Instead of sneaking to the Captail, going to sneak off it this time, and Cyber going to bring out that Vigil, as he was going to play it last time, but then just decided to switch bomb sites. So Julio instead going to bring out the drones, see if he can open up PX's windows potentially. You never know. Or maybe even, who knows, you could potentially take out some Evil Eyes or some Black Eyes as well. Just not as common to try and do so.
So, Teller's defense, first time we've seen them go here, and by them, I of course mean Immortals. We have seen it from Ninja Pyjamas, and it was unsuccessful, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I believe so.
So, not exactly ideal for Nip, but will it be ideal for Immortals is the question. It's a difficult bomb site to hold. There are some things like, for example, the vertical pressure that can really hurt your hold here. In certain circumstances against certain teams, you can ignore it, but not really the case in this match.
Especially when they have a Buck.
Yeah, there's a Buck being played. That's another thing. Buck has been played so much more regularly that vertical pressure is almost, it's an expectation at this point. No matter what, even if you're on a site that the vertical pressure potential is low, you should expect it because
it's a good thing for the game.
It is a good thing for the game, certainly. And it is, in my opinion, because Buck is so much more viable after the site misalignment fix. A lot of the misconception, his recoil didn't get better. His recoil's very much, well, it's not the same, it's similar, it's still high. The difference is that his sight doesn't go all over the place when you're shooting.
The bullets actually land where you expect them to.
Exactly. You can control it. It's controllable. That's the difference. It presents itself as less recoil. Anyway, Cyber eating a lot of damage on the top floor, and he's going all over the place, rotating every which way, and he will die as he attempts to turn left 3 times. PCD will finish him off, and Immortals not having a good start to this round so far. Early control of the top floor for a Nip, and that's really what they want when attacking this site.
Yeah, as you were just talking about that vertical pressure, giving that up and just depending on one player upstairs to be able to hold that. I mean, yeah, I get you lose less resources in losing it, but you certainly lose it much, much easier, especially when that kind of pressure is applied on Cyber, who again is one of the better players frag-wise at the moment for Immortals, so losing him early means you're losing one of your more impact fraggers. So not a great place to be. They're going to try and stop it with C4, but really they're just opening up more holes so Buck doesn't have to, and Window's going to pop open following that.
Yep. Navi's looking through these holes that have just been made, and he's looking to try and stop the Buck in any way possible. You know, it's really what you got to do since you've lost control of the top floor. Yuke, though, might be able to push up. He's been spotted out by Kamikaze, so his push will be denied early. Navi's will take out Psycho, so those peaks actually bearing fruit. Good job to Navi's, able to stem the tide somewhat.
Unfortunately, it does mean PX is a bit low as well as Navi's, but a nice kill back onto Kamikaze. Still going to weaken that attack from above, but advantage over to Julio there as he finally finds PX and finishes him off. Diogo low on health as well.
Navi's starting to peek towards the other teller door. He's aware that there's an attacker by that position. That's Wag, who's going to drone himself into the building. He's looking for any potential targets that he could find. PZD, coming from the main stairs, knows that, well, Navi's is hunting and will be trying to go in the opposite direction. He sees the head of Navi's, but cannot land the shot. Nice one for Navi's, but no second. Wag will shut him down, and a second for Wag. The Thermite entering into the A bomb site. Yu comes back from the roam and will not be able to see any kills as Wag shuts him down. Fragmite showing up in this round. Ninjas and Pyjamas take it, and that's match point for Nip.
Nicely played, considering he had very low health as well. It wouldn't have taken very many bullets to take him down, but he was just juking fast enough that the reinforcements were collecting most of the bullets for him. So nicely done on his part. And this is, of course, match point. So Nip could go home with the win here against the team that gets to go to LAN, but still going to feel good to at least get that and not be relegated.
Yeah, that's comfort, I guess, if nothing else. Also, yeah, it's just saying, hey, we can win this match. You know, despite the fact that we can say pretty soundly that Immortals is not going to be using any real strategy in this matchup. That you know, if on a skill-to-skill match, you can still manage to pull it off.
We'll see what Julio sneaks on over to here, as he's going to bring out that Monty.
Interesting.
So instead of 6 picking from it, he's going to sneak right to it for a second CEO attempt here. As they could do tellers again, but they cannot do lockers, so it makes sense they would go to CEO, as tellers didn't work out so well for them because they could not hold a very stable defense upstairs.
Hey, look,
they made a good effort.
The armor's going to be placed this time.
Wow, it's like Diogo's paying attention.
Wow. Okay. Well, I mean, yeah, it was weird that we didn't see the armor down. I gotta say, that was really strange. I mean, if you're gonna play ACOG, and you really, really want to use the MP5, and you don't want to place armor, well, I tell you what you can do. You can play a Doc.
Yeah.
It's a great option.
I mean, to be fair, you can place late armor, and sometimes you can actually use that. You can put it on later, but...
There's also the shield. I mean, clearly Diogo wants to put a shield in the hallway. I get that.
True.
It's fair enough.
But that's, you know, that's what we see with the Kanto plays having the shield and being Doc.
Yeah. So, it's overall, it's just a weird... It's a weird setup.
Yeah, do
for
what you want to do,
Immortals.
I guess.
And I think maybe they were just cut off early the last time they attempted the site.
I guess, yeah, if you're a top 2 team, do whatever you want.
Yeah, like we talked about earlier, I'm sure they don't really... Yeah, they're not pulling out all the strats right now to get this win.
It's nice to see both the FaZe and the Immortal skids in here, though.
Yeah.
So you just saw the FaZe one earlier, and I'm sure that the Immortals one is being run on PX's gun.
Yeah, of course, you got to represent, man.
Yeah.
Overall, though, the attack looks to be coming from Square Skylight. Sensible, given that they have a Montaigne. You open up the wall, then you start your push in, using the Montaigne, lay down some smoke, and attempt a defuse plant. That'd be the standard strategy here.
Yeah, definitely going to be the case. I mean, they are set up to be able to potentially impact nade Tricket.
They also have Yuke from below, who has a C4. He might pre-place it. We'll see. He's got a camera above that can call out if somebody steps onto it.
I mean, pre-placing it would make sense as long as they don't come downstairs here or into a position where they can see it. You will potentially hear it, though, as a situation where it's not a big, you know, solid floor, like, say, something in Clubhouse pre-plants.
I don't think that Nip has gotten into the building yet. I haven't seen them entry anywhere. They're being very slow this round.
Well, nonetheless, they still managed to push Yuke back a little bit thanks to the drone, but now the clonk, clonk, clonk.
Yeah, Julio pushing his way in. Psycho's going to take out Navi's from a skylight above the main stairs. That is not good. The rotation cut off there for that defender. C4 from PX to try and deny the push in. And the mirror window will be maintained as well as the wall. The impact tricking will, oh no, not be successful. Look at that. The crouch level plant from WAG will actually bear fruit, and we see the wall get opened up. Excellent job there for Ninjas in Pyjamas managing to deal with that wall. They still have the mirror window to contest with, but the other one into the hallway has been opened. So not exactly an ideal setup in the meeting hall right now for Immortals.
Definitely going to be Monty able to walk on in now, and of course, he potentially will have to smoke for himself as no one else is carrying smokes if they go to the plant, but Psycho with a nice grenade kill.
Well, that's 2 for Psycho so far in this round. You can see the C4 from below is not an option as Yuke has already expended his. The question is, what is he doing down here? He's trying to deny the push using the holes that were made in the floor, but as he attempts to go up the stairs, he will... Oh, what a shot from Yuke! Diogo and Cyber also rally, and it's a 2 versus 2 suddenly. Julio being a shield and Kamikaze on low HP, the attack doesn't have a whole lot of teeth to work with here. Yuke is low, so he will die easily, but so little time means that this could still be a defensive win. The diffuser going down, Mark's coming out on that, but through the wall, those shots will not land. Yuke with a team kill into Diogo. Oh no, not like this. The diffuser planted, Montaigne still in play, and it is essentially impossible for Yuke to pull this off. Whether or not Julio knows his opponent is on low HP, the shield will be all that is necessary for Julio to win this. It would have to take some incredible mistake from the Montaigne in order for him to throw this round. The melees from Yuke are not going to give him enough angle onto the Montaigne's side to get this kill. The MPX compounding the issue by being one of the worst guns to take body shots. GG's come out in the chat. Julio clutches it out. And Ninjas in Pyjamas take it 6-3.
Yep. It was, I mean, I got to imagine for Immortals a bit anticlimactic of an ending in the way that they had to play that. But, I mean, there's a lot of times Monty is not the last player you want left alive. But once the diffuser's down, it certainly becomes a different game.
Yeah, once the diffuser's planted in a 1 versus 1. In a 1 versus 2, it can be tricky. Yeah. But in a 1 versus 1, yeah, it's unlosable. I mean, if you lose that, if Julio had thrown that round, then it certainly would have been pretty hilarious.
Yeah, it's 100% on the Monty to lose that at that